Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are working on our garbage truck. This is going to be part 6. Part 6, wow, already. Yeah, see, so much content. So, we're able to, I don't know, get rewards now, I think, and then leave the facility, right? So we're able to come in, pick up trash, and leave. So now this is only one part of a game, right? This is only one element. We'll go over the other parts in just a moment. So we come in here, right? Bin spawns. We get our rewards. Now the reason why it's saying it's giving me that error is because when it releases the bin, not the bin, as soon as it comes into contact with any of those three, it deletes the entire model. I'll explain that in just a moment. Whoa. That's just me glitching out. Okay, cool. So we only got 10 cash and 10 XP. So now why is that? That's just something that we need to rectify now. So what is happening is when the trash spawns into the game, it has these 3 parts to it. And so what I'm telling it to do is, when it comes in contact with this, delete this and this. So if it comes in contact with A, B, or C, it's going to delete the entire object. So what we now need to do is we just need to look at the code for a moment. Not the reward. Yeah, see, that's why it says if hit.name is A. So we're only getting one reward for one of those. So we basically need to change this, and we need to say, let's see. We need to say A or B or C. All right, now it doesn't just need A, and then in the delete script, instead of having all 3 of these, we can get rid of 2 of those, and we can say or B or C. And now it shouldn't give me an error. So it's a blanket reward, it's a general reward for the trash. What happened there? Oh, you know what? This delete. A, B, or C. What happened there? It's this part here that deleted it. It'll do it again. Yeah. Okay, what is going on here? No, we'll have to change that. So, perhaps what we do we have to change that because that's just too general, and it's going to have so many problems. So what we need to do is we just need to take this, and we'll go, let's see, we'll take this here. Can I union this together? I don't think I can because I think it's the mesh. Yeah, it's the mesh that's giving it that shape. So you see how big it is. All right, so I think unfortunately we're only gonna be able to get one of these. So if we're only gonna be able to get one of these, then what we need to do is we need to change the amount that spawn, right? And so what we're gonna do is for the delete script, we instead of saying A, B, or C, I guess that didn't work. This will have to be trash spawned is what we can call that. So then we need to copy that on the reward. It needs to be that, and on the trash spawn, the name needs to be trash spawned. Oh, actually, no, it doesn't need to be that because it's this. Where's here? Yeah, it's this that needs the name. So it's not the model that needs to be named because the model isn't what is hitting this part. It's this part that's hitting that part. That's why this part needs to have the name that we want. If we just generalize it A, B, and C, what the code is going is saying, oh, that has A in its name. Boom, we're going to delete it. And it goes, deletes that and that. And that's why it was deleted in the gate. So I'm like, okay, we need to rethink this just a little bit. So now that we've rethunked that a little bit, let's see how that works. So now what we'll do is we'll increase how much trash spawns. And of course, you got to put stuff inside the truck too. There we go. Maybe that's it. Yeah, there we go. Player name is not a valid member of part workspace dot trash spawned dot trash spawned. Oh, because I'm saying If hit.name is trash spawn. Hit.player name dot value. Oh no, because it should be hit.parent. There we go. That should solve that. Right, so again, as we add code to the game, we're going to create bugs and we're going to create errors. So what we have to do, unfortunately, is we have to test all the way through every single time just to make sure we're still getting the results that we want and that we haven't changed something in the back end accidentally. There we go. Cool. Wow, let me do it at least 3 times. That's all right. I have no idea why that's... Let's just see. Something's up with that. Something is up with this here. Something is up with this script. We should say if hit.humanoid. Can we do that? Yeah, we can do that. We could say else print. Yeah, we could just say wait. That would probably work actually. So then if it gets hit by the player, it'll activate, and then if it doesn't get hit by the player, it won't do anything. So what I'm hoping is that perhaps that'll make the code run a little smoother. There's something in there that's causing a hiccup, and I'm not too sure what it is. Let's figure it out. It could be the gate. Seems like the gate is giving me a bit of a problem. Nope, that didn't work. Hit.name. I wonder, hinge, is that the part that's on the front of the truck, I think. Yeah, that thing there. I misspelt it, and I'm like, well, let's just leave it the way it is. Okay, so that, if that activates this, so what's going on with the gate? Okay, so does this make it go false? Oh, I see. Every 20 seconds it'll run through, so maybe that's not, maybe we need to change that to 30. Or we can trim. Yeah, that might work. Let's see. That was a bit better. Alright, so it could have just been whatever it is. So now what we can do is we can make these gates if we wanted to, I want to change transparency a little bit. We can make them right invisible. But, you know, we'll leave it like that. So this facility is just a generic facility. We could consider this facility to be complete. Yeah, so you come inside, you pick up the trash. Now, like I said, I want to expand on this a little bit because we need a place to dump the trash, but there's recycling also, right? So what I want to do is I want to see if, okay, we'll save this. Save to Roblox. Then what I want to do, I want to go to the toolbox. And I want to search up, like, I don't know, cardboard. Like a cardboard compactor. I guess it doesn't really matter. It could just be a generic bin. So what we're gonna need, we'll use this truck. We'll use this truck here. So what we'll do is we'll duplicate it. Now, what we need to do a couple of things. So this is gonna be for now. We're gonna be done with this one. Overhead garbage. Okay, now as far as this truck goes, we don't need that. Do we need the container? We could. We'll temporarily. We'll get rid of that. Interesting. Oh, it's probably on there. Oh, I see. Interesting. So we'll delete that. Well, that kind of opens up this, and we might need to remodel that part of it. So we're gonna build one of these which has like an arm on it, which can collect and has a compactor in the back. But I don't want to focus on that. In this one here, I want this truck to pick up bins. So I guess we can get rid of the brooms too for now. Alright, so this truck should work as is. Just the controls won't work for the... I'll get an error if I try the controls, right? So it'll work. It still makes a sound. So now what I want to do is I want to turn this into like a roll-off bin truck. I'm pretty sure that's kind of right. Yeah. Okay. So what we need for this, we need to take apart. We need to scale it. This will be can't collide. It's going to have to be collidable, and it's going to be massless. And then what we want to do is we want to weld it to... Yeah, we can weld it to there. So while we're doing this kind of stuff and we're making collidable parts, we always want to be testing to make sure that we're not adding... Yeah, that's quite a tall. So we'll have to figure out that part. Could go down there. I guess we could scale this up. Yeah, you know what? That's right. Okay, now let's see if that's going to sit there. So this is what the bin is going to sit on. So we just have to make sure that it is collidable, but it's not so collidable that it's... Okay, perfect. So now what we need to do is we need another part, and this is going to be... oh, I don't know. Let's make it this color. Or I think a lot of them are like this. Oh, I have to re-cue Maestro. Okay. Almost through this, the boring part. So now what we want to do, we want to try and get that width. And this will be massless. Now it might need to be a little bit thicker. I noticed that some of these parts, they tend to need to be a little bit thicker in order for them not to clip through themselves. So this part and this part we are gonna group as a model for now. Eventually we're just gonna union this together. Alright, so let's test that. Oh, did I not weld? I guess I didn't weld these. Alright, that seems to work. Can we still drive? There we go. That was the problem. Okay, so now that it works, it rolls off. Let's continue on building. You see how the A chassis is able to work with the parts that you add to it? All right, so we could turn it into a dump truck if we really want to. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to take this part here and we need to create a hinge. Insert object, attachment. So exactly in the same way that we made. Now what was it? It was in view, wasn't it? View constraint details. Yeah, there we go. So in the way that we made, yeah, the other dump. This one's going to be exactly the same. So let's make a hinge. Why can't I do that? Oh, because this has a weld in it. Yes, there we go. Now, this attachment needs to be rotated this way. And we want our, alignment. Perfect. All right, so we have the hinge constraint. We have these. None of those are part of it. Okay, so this part here should be in the model. All right, so we can call this base, and then we can take this part, this part, this part, this part, this part, and this part, and we can union them together. And then we can call this the bin. We can call this recycle bin. So that's just like a roll-off bin, right? So now what we then need is we need to go to the toolbox and let's look for a winch. So obviously we'll be adding accessories and all that kind of stuff. We just need a model. Alright, so this obviously needs to be welded together. So we'll take the winch, we'll put it into miscellaneous, into there. And we're just going to weld it to model. We're going to weld it to there. For now, we're kind of using it just as like a placeholder to represent where we're going to make a winch. It is a winch. We're going to turn it into a winch, but you know, it's just the model. Eventually, we'll probably I'll change the model or something. Okay, so it's welded to there, and then we just turn this into can't collide false. Can't collide false, and we'll just make sure that it's maskless. It's that simple. So then, what we want to do now is we want to create a rope. There already is a rope constraint in there. And then an attachment. It's that one there. Okay. So let's do that. So there's an attachment there. And in the bin, we're going to insert an attachment. Insert object and attachment. All right. Now that one there, we're going to move to the front. So the bin itself is collidable. It doesn't weigh anything. And actually, in this case, it could weigh something because a chassis will scale it. So I mean, it could weigh a little bit. We'll make it weigh nothing. So now what we want to do is we want to go from here. We want to create a rope. Where's it here? Constraint. There we go. So we create a rope constraint. That becomes our winch. Oh, I forgot to set the properties on the hinge. That would probably help. All right. All right, so you see how it falls off like that? It tells me that this needs to be adjusted just a little bit. So when we pull it onto the truck, you see how that drops down? Now why is it popping up so high? Oh, because it's collidable. And is this collidable? Huh. I wonder if those need to be a bit longer. Oh, we also need more. We need additional support for the. So if I duplicate this for the bin, no, that. We'll duplicate this one. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. We'll need to weld it. Yeah, we can weld it to there. That's cool. So now, like, this could be invisible. This doesn't have to be seen. We're seeing it for now, so we can do the debugging. But in the future, these could definitely be see-through. But I don't understand why is it the rope? Pulling it up like that? See, there's something there. Alright, let's find out what the something there is. This is bugging me. Something in here is pushing that thing up. Oh, it could be... No, that's... Yeah, it's all can collide balls, except for the wheels. Okay, so this is just bugging me. Let's take all the miscellaneous and let's let it ride there. See if that fixes it. It doesn't. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to make this wait, this constraint is there, right? Yeah. So it is together even though it has moved. Was it Alt D? So strange, so strange. Yeah, because this is just, maybe it's because it's just sitting on top. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. Let's make this thinner then. Kind of works, kind of works. See, I just, yeah. Maybe it just has to do with the union itself, the bin. If I separate it back into parts, and then make sure it's massless. Yeah, that helped. That helped. So silly, this game. So silly. So, why is it going all blah, 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 like that? Because this is collidable. So if we make that can't collide false, then the player's camera is able to cut through the back there, and it shouldn't skip. It'll skip when the camera catches on the sides, you see? But we can avoid that. So, you know. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take the interface. I had a plan for this video and I just kind of was like, let's make a video. Okay, so we're going to take the interface that we have, right? And we have up, stop, down, stop. So in the actual vehicle script, the prismatic constraints is no longer. So in the actions here, we can get rid of all that. And really all we need is the hinge constraint that's in the base. We can just call this dump. Just for now, right? We're just setting up this truck. So what this truck is going to do is it's going to roll off, it'd be like a bin truck, but not an actual bin truck. It's going to be one of those trucks that, like, you know, in the grocery stores and that, they have like cardboard recycling in the back, and it's the big bale that they keep compressing over and over again. Then a big truck comes by and picks up the bale and leaves. That's what this is. It'll all make sense. It'll all make sense. Okay, so the only thing we want, I guess, essentially now is just the sound. So we now have all these, it's kind of cool that we made this interface, and now we can just recode the interface with brand new buttons. It makes it so easy to expand. All right. So we go up. What we want to do is we want to say script.parent.parent parent.actions .dump, and then what we want to do is we want to set this to servo, and let's test it out. I'm guessing upper angle 90. Let's try it. Cool. Doesn't even have to go to 90. It could probably, okay, so limits enabled, and what we want to do is let's limit that to 45. So when we press it, .dump, let's see, dot target angle equals 45. Script parent.actions .dump. Oh, we'll do angular speed. We'll do angular speed. All right, so now we get into the truck. Now it won't lift. I don't know why it won't lift. So it can do it there. So what we have to do is we have to weld this to here. That's the only way it's going to lift. Unfortunately, the only way it's going to lift is if it's welded. What's going on? Turn it into a motor. And then we could say angular velocity. Oh yeah, it has to be a motor. Has to be a motor. Okay, perfect. So then we will say angular velocity 0.5. And then now when it's, can we change angular velocity to -1? We can. Okay, perfect. So this one here. Wow. Alright, so it goes up and down, it goes up and down, it also goes crazy on the... So what we do to fix that temporarily is we are going to scale this back, and we're going to scale that one back. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to duplicate this. And we're going to make that can't glide false. Duplicate that. We'll put this over on this side. It should be all welded. And then we're going to scale this one here. And we are going to duplicate that. But this one we have to weld. Now that is can't glide false. That is, there we go. So now that whole little area there, we have a little bit of an area for the camera so it doesn't clip on the bin. Hopefully that's going to make it a little bit smoother. Yeah, definitely a little bit smoother. We can find a better angle. It's still clipping in here, so I mean, obviously it's going to take a little bit of work. But yeah, so essentially now that we have that, or maybe I'll see if I can put a little camera in here. Ooh, that would be neat. That would be really neat. So the bin comes up. Then what we want to do is we want to release the weld, and then we want to extend the rope, right? So what that weld there is the lock. So what we need to do is we need to create a new lock when the parts touch and all that kind of stuff. So I just need to figure that out for a little bit. I am running a little late. With that, I want to say thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. So this will be part number 6. In part 6, we are just creating a second truck, so it's going to have a roll-off bin, essentially. So if we go to, let's see. If we just duplicate that. show welds. Are there any use welds? There aren't. Okay. Use show welds. So we'll have to have a place for this. For now, I'm just going to unit it together. It's just easier, that's all. Transparency. Just get rid of that. Right, so let's say over, I don't know, so there's an area where they have bins, right? And then there'll be an area here where maybe they dump other types of trash, right? Maybe it's a warehouse or something, and they dump other types of trash. So then what we're going to have is we'll have another area over here that spawns bins, right? Which will have other types of trash in it. And then the player will be able to come through, drop this bin on the ground into a holder, pick up the other bin and go. And then at the facility, that's where the player is going to get rewarded for this bin. They'll have to bring this bin back to the facility where it'll just be compressed or dumped or recycled. We'll have to figure that out, but it's going to be kind of an expansion on the idea. Right now, we're still working on collection and rewarding the player for collection. Then we'll work on processing and rewarding the player for processing. So that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching part 6, and I will see you all in the next one.